Vietnam War lasted from 1954 to 1975. By 1969, more than 500,000 U.S. military personnel were stationed in Vietnam. The United States lost 58,220 men and women. In all, over 1.3 million human lives were lost. The human costs of this conflict can never be undone. Today, at an age when a young man could be drafted, students from Lincoln High sit down with combat veterans to learn from their experiences from the war.
We talked previously a little bit. You had told me that you'd always sort of had this warrior spirit. You'd always felt like a warrior. And that you had a family connection. An uncle of yours was a Tuskegee Airman to the military.
Yes, he was.
So, do you remember the moment that you felt like you wanted to join, or you knew?
Yes. We were sitting at home watching television, and the Vietnam War was broadcast live and in color at dinner time. And I saw these young men jumping off of helicopters and jumping back in. Actually, I was at the University of Nebraska sitting next to a teammate, and I said, gee, I'd like to do that. He says, what, jump off a helicopter and get killed? I said, no, fly. This was the fall of '68. A year later, I was in flight school.
That's interesting, actually. There, you were talking about, last time we spoke, about the different kinds of helicopters that you flew. And there was one in particular, I don't remember the name, but you would fly real low.
The Loach.
Yeah, the Loach.
Loach stands for Light Observation Aircraft. I got to fly the OH-6 Alpha. Usually you had the pilot and a door gunner or your crew chief, and your job was to actually fly at treetop level to see if you could get people to shoot at you. Now behind you is a Cobra, the AH-1G. We call that the Snake. And if you work together good enough, the minute the Cobra pilot would see you break, he'd punch off a pair of rockets right where you were. Now the average life expectancy for a Loach pilot was 90 days. I got to do it for 6 months straight.
Doesn't surprise me. So as a pilot, I know we talked briefly about it, but could you describe what it was like forming friendships with some of these people at bases? Because I know that you had to travel back and forth and you didn't always know if they were going to be...
Actually, you try not to form friends because it hurts so much. I learned that within my first 90 days being there. I got close with a group of grunts. That's what we call the infantrymen guys. I saw them in the morning. I came back that afternoon and I was asking where guys were. All they did was point like that. And there was a bunch of body bags stacked up like cordwood. So you learn, if I don't get close to someone, then I can't be hurt if anything happens to them. So I stayed close with my crew chief and the door gunner. That was basically it, and my wingman.
There was an instance that you said you'd been shot down a few times.
We were scouting near the Cambodian border looking for a new fire support base, and we started taking fire from a 51 cal. And you could tell the 51 cal because it had white tracers. And I'm caught in the dead man zone, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I couldn't think of anything, so I just let go of the controls and slumped over like I was dead. Now the major is freaking out, and he's just screaming because he thinks, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. And about 10 feet above the trees, I sat up and grabbed the controls. Then he really freaked out. And we flew out of there. We came back with a heavy fire team of Cobra, and that turned into a 3-day firefight. We had inadvertently stumbled upon a NVA regimental staging area.
Yeah. So I guess the only thing that we haven't really touched on so far is what it was like coming back.
Ooh. Well, wish we could ask my mom about that, because the last time she saw me, I was her very polite, sweet son. When I came back, I was very much a combat-hardened veteran and would say phrases like, I don't need these effing civilians. And of course, your mom has a way of looking at you, letting you know that that language may be okay in the military, but not in my house. So.